Go for it.
All right. So I am Zach Glubick, and this is our group's game called The Last Song. I am here with Joe, Audrey, and Noah. They can introduce themselves.
I'm Noah. I'm one of the programmers on the team.
I am Joe.
I'm Audrey. I'm one of the artists on the team.
I'm Joe. I'm one of the other artists on the team.
All right. Let's get started.
Professional YouTubers here, people.
Mm-hmm. We are professionals. All right. This is our game. We have it conceptualizes a 2D puzzle platformer, I believe. Yeah, it's the last song. Well, we should start with some lore, I think.
Yeah.
Some very necessary lore for our current predicament.
Tell us the story so far, Audrey, or what the story of the game is supposed to be.
Well, I guess developmental lore. I had the idea for this game last summer and drew some concepts for it, and then, abandoned it because I can't program anything. And then I picked it back up and pitched it this semester, and it's about the bird who's like the last of his species, the Kauai-o-o. And because I found this YouTube video showcasing like the duet but missing the female's voice. I thought that was like a really sad concept. So I'm like, what if I made a game where he actually is able to find her? And then it evolved into this.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we start off. You start off in the cave area, deep in the underground. You gotta climb your way up and out, I guess.
For the original development idea of how we got into the cave, we originally had this big grand plan of having a bunch of cutscenes here and there, where
and then that was
we'd
hard
see we'd see the bird flying around and something hits it, and it falls down here and it ends up hurting itself, so it doesn't have all its like jumping strength and whatnot. But as development went on, it turned out that animation was hard. It took a lot more time than expected. So we probably won't have
like a way to explain why the bird just couldn't fly all the way out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're not allowed to fly yet. You get a little bit more flight later in the game. I guess it's not really flight, it's more of gliding. Slowly falling, actually. Probably a better way to describe it.
Like falling with style.
Slow fall.
Yeah, falling in style. And we
Controlled descent.
a controlled descent, I guess. And another one of our design concepts was the player singing or doing a song, I guess. And that's the first ability you have. Saw some signs back there. It's J. J, you shoot a little music note, and that breaks stuff and hurts stuff. A checkpoint, of course, in case you fall off the map, like so. And you come back at the checkpoint. At our first obstacle of the game, a falling rock, classic enemy in video games that hurts you and takes away some of your hearts. And you can restore that with a feather. Or I guess they're not hearts, they're feathers.
You got the falling stalactite platforms. Stalactite.
When you shoot them, you break, or you break them with the sing. And they fall down. Use them as platforms. Kind of difficult job. There you go.
Gain a new ability every level.
Yeah, at least one ability. I think our second level you get at least 2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just the most basic moveset we have yet. We have our enemy, or one of the 2 enemies in the stage. The damselfly charges at the player. It hurts. It should die. There we go. You shoot it a bunch, and it dies.
Yeah,
They're not very nice.
You got 1 feather left. There we go. Oh, there's a checkpoint. We're good. I don't know if there's any big problems with the cave's development. Oh wait, there was the fact that Noah figured out and got parallaxing set up for the cave, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where the
Oh, that's
background keeps up. Oh, you found the spike pit. Congratulations.
It's a little bit harder to see here, but the background moves independently of the, or all the layers of the background move independently of each other. Now this is for our cave level and our canopy level. Our forest level is a little more detailed, a little more intricate, so that one doesn't have parallaxing. But we got it set up for the cave and the canopy.
It was mostly because we developed the forest first, and then we already had like a whole background set up. Or that I believe I set up, and no, death. And it was easier. I don't know if it was easier, but I guess it just ended up being we kept the background in the forest in the end.
And we actually had more than one level, or more than 3 levels, because 3 levels.
Right.
We should have 3 levels for the final game, but in the beginning of development, we had 5 whole levels. That was way too ambitious. And then we got 2 of them done roughly, and then we were like, and then we decided that 3 more levels would probably be harder than the 2 levels, and we cut 2 of them because 2 of them weren't very necessary. We just kind of combined them all into the 3.
There's supposed to be like some kind of transitional levels in between stages, right? Like
Yeah.
the rise
Original. In the original pitch design, we had like transition levels of like where the game would teach you your new ability that you just got. But we ended up just having like signs placed at the beginning of each level that informs the player of their new abilities.
I killed the one we saw earlier, but this is the other enemy. We have the snail. It shoots at the player. The player gets close to it, but this one is placed fairly high up, only to interrupt you if you touch it. We killed the one earlier, but you can kill those. They die.
Just get them out of there.
Perish.
Yeah. And this is the end of our first level. Going to the next one. Yeah, snail shoots at the player.
We now are able to switch songs between an orange note, red and yellow. When red is able to open flowers, this was one of the first mechanics we ended up developing, right? Just being able to open flowers with an interaction key.
I think it's like our
Yep.
first like development plan thing. It was like opening flowers with song notes, right? We got like 3 different types of flowers that all do different sorts of things.
Yep, we have these yellow flowers that open and close on their own. We also have red flowers, which you saw earlier, that stay open once opened, and then later on we'll encounter some blue ones
Yeah,
that
this is-
close after a short amount of time.
the other ones close on you. Trying to demonstrate that, but demonstrating it poorly as I keep falling off. They open and close, and their collision gets removed. And
To change these collision on these, or I gotta end up changing these branch collision.
yeah, it's important to note that this is a still in development build of the game, so some of our collision and some of our mechanics are still needing a little bit of work. I think those branches kind of hard to jump off of, but we'll have that at least polished when the game actually gets its final update. Yeah, here's another one of our enemies.
The moorhen. It was designed to work like the old what are they? The red Koopas from Mario, where but unlike that, it'll actually chase you if you're too close to it. But it won't actually walk off any ledges, and it'll hurt you if you get too close to it.
Like that.
Start pecking at you.
I'll wait for that flower to close.
You don't trust it?
I don't. I don't trust it at all.
Skill, your speed.
We don't have the speedrun route labbed out yet, unfortunately.
Our old speedrun route was what a few playtesters found out that our old glide button, the way our glide used to function was it just lowered the player's gravity, so they could actually jump super high. Bunch of people found that. That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
'Cause,
here's the blue flowers. They close. The blue flowers here close after a little bit of time after interacting with them like that. So they're pretty tricky if you're not fast enough.
Oh, you're about to see the other enemy.
Oh yeah.
Goose. they
Yeah, they do.
they grab the player's location once you get close enough to them, and then they'll swoop at you. That was a bit of a hard to figure out. Oh.
They're kind of good at what they do. They died.
But they still die.
I think we're getting close to the end of this level. Roughly about halfway there.
Roughly halfway there.
Anything else from development we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
The blue flowers used to be green, but then a lot of people mentioned that it was hard to like distinguish between level and platforms, so we had to make a few changes here and there.
Like on a few different things, like the branches, we had to add like little colored flowers to them to make them more visible, and like the grass, like floors and everything, we added an outline to help them stand out a bit more. And just like pop out more from the background.
There was also another flower that was planned to be like a check instead of the feather checkpoints. It was supposed to be like a certain flower that the Kawaii was known to eat from, but I don't think we ever figured that out, and we didn't end up implementing it or developing it either. So now we just have these golden feathers as checkpoints instead.
The final
We also at
gauntlet.
one point had planned to have like boss battles at the end of each stage, but then we didn't do that because it was like, oh man, we already have so many other things we need to do.
I kind of forgot about the boss battles. That would have been a lot of work, man.
Mhm.
Actually, yeah. And so they
Like
would have
with,
all had to have their own little programming, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess cut levels, cut bosses even, all from development. And we're gonna stop there. Onto our third level, the canopy, where the
It's a
game comes to a
surprise.
close. Yes, it is a surprise. So you have to play the game yourself.
Wow.
Never seen that
Leave
one.
them cliffhangers. How
Yeah,
how
leave them on
dare
a
you?
cliffhanger.
How
That's
dare
it.
you?
That's how you get the
Yeah.
views.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll show you guys the canopy level.
Sneak peek.
Sneak peek, yes.
Exclusive footage.
Volcano. And we also have the final song unlocked, which I'm not sure if you want to show them that.
Yeah, they can. They can investigate that on their own. Zach.
Fine. Be that way.
Yeah, leave some stuff up to the imagination.
Mm-hmm. What does a 3-note song do? Use
Leave your
imagination.
predictions in the comments below.
Well, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
Good
wrap
video.
things up. Yeah,
That was the last song playtest, or not really a playtest. It was a semi playthrough. It was a show off, really.
Trailer. Exclusive
Trailer.
footage trailer.
exclusive.
From the devs.